Welcome to Three Beards and a Boss. I am TJ, and everyone else introduce yourselves. You know what? Starting with the youngest by 12.
I feel very Brady Bunch right now. With this, there's a story of a man named Brady. Guys, I'm Bobby. I'm the largest beard, the only big beard.
I'm Becky. I'm the boss. No beard right now.
Brian, I'm one of the other beards.
One of the other beards. So we have been off for a while. Just family stuff going on and professional life's going on. But we wanted to come back on and we had fun, right? So we're
Absolutely.
back. And we have a guest tonight. It's going to be a mixture of things that we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about September 11th because it'll be in a couple days. We're just going to talk about life. I'm really happy. I'm honored that I got a buddy of mine. Danny is in the National Guard. He owns his own business. He's a father of two. And he's been married for 20 years, and that's a big deal.
Hell yeah.
That's a huge deal.
That's
So-
good.
We're going to bring Danny in. Bobby's going to do that for us, and we're going to start this off.
Woo!
Danny.
Hey, Danny.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
So, Danny and I
Appreciate
go
being
back.
here.
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Yeah.
Danny has a beard.
You
That's a
For the
plus.
time being.
For the time being.
grew it for
When-
today, right? You did
Mhm.
preparation. Good job.
Absolutely.
Do you have drill this weekend?
Within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Danny and I go way back. Danny, when was the first time we met?
I want to say in 2013 we met at an NTO school.
Actually, it was 2010.
10. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize.
You're a
went
man.
to
You don't know
cab school.
anniversaries. I
No,
get it.
no,
I get
all that stuff goes by the side. You know that.
Yeah, as women, we know.
So we went to CAV school together, and we were both assigned to the same squadron, but two different troops. We also deployed together. So we shoot the same sand in Iraq.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we have a bond. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm glad to have him on. And I'm not no echo, right?
Right.
We're good. Okay. So I'm glad to have him on. I put an invite out to a whole bunch of people, and Danny was the first one that said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." So Danny, thank you so much.
Yes, thank
You want
you.
to come on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate coming on with you guys, especially being with TJ. I mean, that's my brother. You know, we
Yeah.
served in the military together. We, like you said, we traded the same sands, everything, different units, but you know, that's my brother for life. Once you're in the military, woman, male, doesn't matter. You're my brother and my sister.
That's right.
I hope you
So-
never get tired of hearing this, but thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Danny, I don't know if you've got the chance to watch the show. Brian and Becky both served in the Ohio Guard, right?
Nice.
No,
Jesus, get your
What?
shit together, TJ.
we were both in the reserves.
Oh, y'all suck. I thought you were nasty girls.
Both
It-
Army reserves.
If you
Oh,
in the
okay.
reserve, that just means that you had a better opportunity to get better equipment than the nasty girls. That's all that is. Fairly funded. That's all that is.
Yeah. Look, nasty girls, we get the hand-me-down to hand-me-down.
You know it. You know it.
So the dynamic here, Danny, is that Becky and Bobby are twins, and Brian and I are just 4 years apart. So the twins are 12 minutes apart. So you tell me which one's the youngest.
I'm gonna say that beard. I mean, that beard
That's
just
right.
came out so perfect.
There's
Yeah.
there's
You
some
were born with
grays.
that, wasn't you, sir?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
That's a young man's
So-
beard right there.
I don't
Okay.
feel
We
very
will have-
young, but yeah.
Technicians that help us here, not really, but my technician was looking at the screen when Bobby came on, and he's like, "Oh hell, man, that's a beard."
Mhm.
And I felt like when David Chappelle had to take his son to Kevin Hart's show, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I feel like I have to take him backstage and shit. So
That's
since
awesome.
it's been a long
I could do a how-to
Bobby, tell us
video
what's
if you
going on
want.
with your awesome beard.
Oh man, all
What's
kind
there
of
to say?
moistures and everything going in that beard. I mean, I
No,
know
there
it.
ain't- Listen, I shampoo and I condition every day. That's it. That's the only
Really?
thing I do. Yeah, I put nothing.
What
in that
kind of
beard.
shampoo and conditioner?
That does matter.
I don't even know. It's probably I don't know. It's probably the good shit. It's whatever.
I'm using
Shannon gets.
cocoa butter and all kinds of
It's not
shit for my
Suave.
beard.
It's
whatever.
definitely not the suave.
It's actually probably tail and mane.
Oh yeah, that would be a good
Oh,
one.
that was
Yeah,
some good stuff back in the
yeah.
day.
No, it just grows like this, man. I wish I could say that I put some time and effort. I do not. It just grows and I let it grow. And this is the way it works. This is the way it
Do you
works.
go
So
to the barber and they trim it?
I do, yeah, yeah. Every probably month or so I have them trim it. Yeah.
Look, sir, the way I look at it, just let yourself be great. God bless
Yeah.
you with that beautiful beard. Let
Right.
yourself be great
That's
and
right.
be an icon to everybody else.
Right. Well, the back hair is another problem, but we won't go there. You know,
You
I-
supplement the back hair into the
I
beard
know,
and put in,
right.
like
I don't
extensions.
know. I mean,
That's all it comes
Yeah,
up
that's
you
what
guys.
he did.
That's all
He
the
just
back
went
hair
like
come up.
this every morning.
Yeah, this is actually just my chest hair. Just
Couple patches here and there. I mean, no one will ever notice.
nope,
That's right.
nope, they can't tell. No,
So let's
I wish
start
there
out
was something
with-
cool to say.
Let's start out with Bobby.
Yeah.
Tell us what you've been doing since the last episode that we had with David.
Oh, geez, that was like in September. What? No, that was October or November.
October. Somewhere around there.
Dude, I don't know. Working. I got 3 kids. I mean, they keep me pretty busy. Shan, she keeps me pretty busy. Just life, man. You know,
Yeah.
IRL, man. IRL keeps me busy. We're always doing something. Brian came to visit.
Yeah.
We had a
That's
sleepover. Becky got wasted. It was fun. Good times.
Keg
Wish you
stand?
could be here.
No cake, no cake.
No, we had no kegs. We've
That's
kind of grown up since then, but you were on the.
Oh, now it's
where
wine.
were you? Yeah. Now it's what were we having, Brian?
Oh
Aviators,
my God.
Aviations,
aviations, yeah. Manhattans. We
They're
were doing
getting
the
way
good stuff.
too fancy for me.
And you were, where were you? You were on your weekend
I was on my
uh,
18.
duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was good times. That's about what I've been up to. A whole bunch of shit. Work has me busy, as per usual.
Yeah.
So, what about you,
All
T?
right, Brian, what about you?
Since last October, catching up on working a lot, of course, but like catching up on a couple birthday vacations with friends that like they couldn't, have because of COVID, and trying to catch up on concerts. Been to a lot of shows lately.
Actually enjoying
you
freedom
mentioned-
again, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You mentioned COVID.
I'm over it.
That's
I'm over
super-
COVID. I'm just back out
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right with
I'm
you.
not feeling
We
grandma,
started doing
and there's a bunch of
breweries.
ventilators still available. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we just started doing breweries and all that kind of stuff lately. So,
Yeah, just getting back into it. T.
well, I mean, a little bit here and there.
Okay.
So, Virginia is not as advanced as everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, Becky, how about you?
Since last year,
Yep.
I've gotten 2 doctorates.
Yeah. Nice, Becky.
I have cured a couple diseases.
Nice.
Um,
Not COVID.
Come on, Becky, get your shit together.
He's working on monkeypox.
Yeah, working on monkeypox, another vaccine.
Yeah, that's taking a lot of my time. I literally have been doing nothing but working and hanging out with Connor.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
you're all vaccinated against monkeypox, smallpox vaccines. If you've been in the military, you guys are all vaccinated.
Yeah,
Yep,
we're good.
got it. Got it.
Got him.
That's something they gave to you in the gun, in the air gun.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
whoa.
So it's like a tattoo gun, and they stab the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
it's
like
the one
needles
that
on
has
it.
like a circle and all the prongs.
Yes.
Yep, multiple prongs to hit you.
I never got that.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'll be able to
terrible.
give it to you if you go overseas.
Okay, I never got that.
Yeah. So that's the only thing.
I want to clear something up. I wasn't the only one wasted on the sleepover.
That's true.
Okay. Come on.
I mean, y'all are trying to make it look like I was the only one.
No. You're right, Becky. You're right.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Please explain.
I was sober.
You are a lie.
Not with that beard. No, that beard.
This
You
guy
drink a
doesn't
lot
know.
of beers.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
would think
He
the
stores
only
it
one
in there.
probably sober was Destiny, and she was a little tipsy.
No, she wasn't sober.
She wasn't sober, and she,
No.
And there was nobody was.
Nobody was. You're right.
Nobody
No
was.
one was. I do want to brag on you, Becky. For one, the beard, it does drink a lot of beer, and it's always
Absolutely.
Busch. It's always Busch Light. Secondly, Becky.
no, it's Miller Lite.
Has
That's
been-
why I'm drinking this now because I drink Miller Lite and because I'm having a show with you. So
Man, Miller Lite is the best anyway, so you're in good shape.
It's good. It's good.
Becky has cured a couple diseases in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Becky, do you want to tell them about the dudes you got off the street?
What?
Come on, man.
Oh no, I haven't got anybody off the streets. Well, they're
Where are they?
but
They're in custody. They're
Oh, yeah.
behind bars. That's a
as
Becky-
Bethany says, we're raking in felons like it's fall.
yeah. That's right.
Oh.
Becky was in the news. We got a big
She was on
thing
TV.
about it. She was on
What?
TV, putting away bad guys.
Okay.
So that's maybe it's not
You got to
curing a
pull that
disease
article
like
up.
They were showing a preview of rookie feds out here in California, and all of a sudden they cut that out and started showing Becky's reel in the courthouse. I was pretty-
Wow, really?
Is that true? You're a liar. I hate you.
That's messed up.
I
That's messed up.
would
She's
have
all
to find
excited.
it.
I was like, it is national news.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
national news. My
Hey,
last
Becky and Santa Cruz, those guys are just normal citizens walking around. So
Yeah, those are normal dudes.
yeah, those are normal dudes in downtown.
you need to bring them out there.
DJ can attest to that.
In the area I live in, those dudes live on 5th Street in Richmond
Mhm.
every day. I don't even know what the hell they did wrong, but I know that we have it.
You know, yeah. Oh yeah. No, he was a guy that tried to kidnap a 4-year-old girl from a
Oh,
Ooh.
from a
really?
Catholic school like not a fundraiser, but like a social. And he was
Okay.
gonna do really, really bad things to her.
Oh wow.
Can you guys hear that?
Wow.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Hear
good.
you.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
that was
Becky's
cool.
becoming my hero right now.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to watch on TV.
Our
Uh,
little girl.
It's just cool. It's just cool to have people that actually care about other people nowadays instead of everybody being self-absorbed. You know what I mean? Like, just
yeah.
care about themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I mean,
Becky
it's all
is
about
definitely one of them.
society, and we can't all live in a society where it's full of people that are going to hurt us. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for my family. I mean, whatever we can do to like take those people off the streets, that's what we do. But I mean,
Good for you
I like
for
it.
doing that. All you guys do that. I'm the only one that doesn't. So I need to rethink my careers.
No, you can do it. You do it in your own way, and
exactly.
the type of person you are, I guarantee you do.
Yeah.
Like you see something going on. It's the little things. My wife always says. 20
Yeah.
years married, that woman has never been wrong. It's always I'm always wrong.
I'm right.
I'm just gonna put that out there. You know what I mean? It's the little things. You know,
Mhm.
when you see something going wrong, you might step in or might call the cops. Little things like that. that makes a big improvement in somebody's life regardless.
Yep. See something, say something.
That's right.
Exactly.
And people are so afraid to be in people's business, but you know what? Sometimes you need to be.
No, you do. That's the problem with our society. Everybody is so self-absorbed on the phones all the time. Like I tell my children all the time, I fought with my wife about getting cell phones for them, things like that. But when we're just on a car ride, like you miss the sunset, the sky.
Right.
You miss that pretty bird flying by. Like, get off the phone, enjoy life.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We went camping over the weekend, and the kids had their cell phones, but they didn't work well.
Good.
So
good.
they went down the river. They went fishing. They went, they did fun stuff, s'mores and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a great break from all the crap.
That's where you get your memories as a kid. That's where you get your memories, not from looking at your phone, but from doing.
Right.
And like making adventures, having adventures, and like living life.
That's right. That's right.
We had plenty of those. We didn't have internet.
There she goes.
Barely in the corner, people.
There you are.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, there she is.
You made it, Zach.
Who's that girl talking to that?
That's the defense attorney.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Is she saying that girl
She's going,
behind me
it's going to be
will
okay.
choke the fuck out of you? Is that what you're
She's
saying?
like, it's going to be okay, but don't say crap.
Yeah. Hey, you see that bitch in the
Saying,
picture?
I'm not going to let you have a pin around you. Oh, you got to show the video of him trying to kill the officer with a pin.
I don't know.
What?
Oh, there it is, right here.
Yeah.
You got it right there. Start it out. No, go back. Go back.
Oh, my bad, Beck. My bad. This is new.
He tried to attack the officer with a pin.
Becky, that officer is showing a lot of restraint. You should put that on a public website because
It's on
that officer
TikTok.
should have.
It's got like 200,000 likes on TikTok.
Yeah, because that dude should have killed that guy for going
Yeah.
after him with that. He could have put his eye out, man. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
honestly,
he stabbed him in the jugular. He was going for the jugular.
was that what he was going for?
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
dude didn't look like a biology major or anything, so I don't know if he knew where the jugular was. I think he was just blindly swinging at something.
He worked
Well,
at Lowe's.
he's
He probably doesn't know where the jugular is.
Probably not.
I'll tell you what the
Juggo slug cleaner is, but he doesn't know where the jugular is.
Hey,
The
Becky,
first time I met
what was his term of sentence?
Huh?
What did he get for doing what he did?
Oh no, we just had a no bond hearing today, and he got no
Okay.
bond. So we're like,
All
at
right,
the
so we
beginning.
won't discuss the case.
No. A
Can't
lot
do
of it's
that.
public record, unfortunately, but we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to discuss it.
So, okay.
What were you saying, Danny, about the first time you met T?
The first time I met T, when we were at school, I shook his hand, and he about broke my hand and took me to the ground immediately.
Oh my god!
Immediately. And
God.
he was talking about how he was a police officer, and me being in the military, we served with other police officers on National Guard, nasty girls, whatever you want to call us, Army Reserves, things like that. But I knew TJ was a great guy, and and I said, "Hey, how did you do that?" He goes, "Just give me your hand." He literally just like pushed my hand about right here somewhere and literally dropped me to my knees. So I know if TJ was in that situation, it'd have been over quicker than that.
Well, all the TikTok people are calling him John Wick. They're like,
John Wick. We during school, back then we can have a little bit more fun in Army school. You're going through training. You're busting your tail constantly. You're studying. You're doing fields. Calling out different names wasn't not allowed nowadays, but they used to call me Poncho. They even printed on my certificate, Poncho, as a joke. The instructors, we used to call TJ Tom Cruise because he's such a handsome man. Little things like that. It made the course go faster. It made the course be better. It made us actually like me and TJ develop a friendship.
Right.
And I mean, it was really nice. And like I said, and with TJ, he was such a strong-minded person when he came over there. When other people fell, he actually backed them up. And like when I looked at him, I was like, yeah, we've been friends for a long time. And
That's right.
you know, look at us now. Over you know, how many years later we're friends and buddies.
12 so far.
Hey, do you remember?
Well, according to
we
you,
had
9.
put
According to
something-
him,
Do you remember having to put something on the skeleton thing at the end of our class? Where we-
Nope, not really.
What'd
No?
you do?
the mojo.
Yes.
Where we had to put this. So we had a guy in our class. This mustache looked like Goose from Top Gun.
Yeah.
So we peeled it off of his. We did the wax thing.
Yeah.
We ripped it off of his body, and we put it on the mojo.
Yeah.
Because every class
Yeah.
had to put something
Yeah.
on the mojo.
Yep.
Did he consent to you ripping it off?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, that's probably painful.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Brian, I've waxed your belly before.
Yeah, dude, I've been waxed multiple times. I can tell you right now, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
You look like Goose.
That's not Goose. That's
Yeah,
Goose.
That's Goose. That's
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 Goose.
Goose, man.
Goose.
Not
Hey,
how
by
we
the
like
way,
to
did you
remember.
guys like my movie?
I have not seen it, T.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
You have not seen? Oh, Jesus.
No.
It's
No,
on.
it's out.
It's on streaming now.
Yeah, I've been told I have to see it in theater, and I will. I just haven't
Yes.
had a chance
Good.
to yet. Yeah, I hear it's excellent.
I only should see it because Miles Teller is hot without a shirt on.
I
Rooster?
have no idea who Miles Teller is.
He's the son of
Goose. Yeah.
somebody. Oh,
Okay.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
He's Goose's son.
Well, yeah. He actually does a really good job of like showing, picking somebody that looked just like him.
Wow.
They
Nice.
did a really good
But
job.
Meg Ryan and Goose had a baby. This Rooster's it.
Yep.
There he
He's
is.
it, huh?
Here he is.
Hey,
There he
click
goes
on
right
that
there.
picture where his shirt's off.
Yeah.
Click on
He's
the
right
shirt
up
off.
there, Bobby. You can see him with the shirt off up there.
Yeah, click on that. Click on that. There it is.
Becky's like,
That's
click on
Goose?
that.
There it is.
All right, that's enough.
All right. Are
pornography.
you happy now, Becky?
Christ.
All right, move along, move along.
It
Becky's
was
down
less
there
than
like this.
13 seconds, Bobby. So we still have an R rating.
Right. Yeah.
Still have an R rating. We haven't. So you haven't seen Top Gun, but Bobby saw another great movie the other day.
I did. Man, it was amazing. I can't even remember what it's called.
So
Everything,
No,
well, 'cause
it's had a rough title.
it's
Everything,
called
everywhere,
Everything,
all at once.
Everywhere, all at once. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excellent, man. Really good
Were you
movie.
going to the French theater? What are you doing?
No, it's
No, it was on TV.
it's got a lot of
movie.
it's got a lot of press. It's like it's probably going to win a lot of awards this year. If it doesn't, I'd be very shocked.
Okay.
It is very
So
interesting.
Bobby's making home movies? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish. It is a A24 movie, so I mean it's not a home movie, but it's certainly it's definitely a like low budget, but it doesn't look like it. But it's a
You were out there
what's
with your
A24?
iPhone recording this movie?
It's like a lower budget production company, but they make some good shit. I mean, they do make some good shows. They've made like Lighthouse. They've made Men. I don't know. Like they're making a lot of good stuff right now.
I can't tell you what it's about.
It's hard to explain, isn't it?
Great movie.
You can't really explain it to somebody. It's about a lady trying to do her taxes.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
All right.
Yeah,
That's not all.
and then she finds somehow to travel to other dimensions.
Oh,
Okay.
winner right
And
there.
it's-
I'll watch it all day.
But it's a tearjerker too. It's not just about travel, and it's not about the action. It's about the message, and it's
Oh my
pretty
gosh.
spectacular.
So Bobby, when Shannon was texting, I don't know if you were in that thread. I know Destiny and I were both in it.
No, I
She-
wasn't.
Well, when she said one of her favorite lines is from that movie now.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the moment of the movie. Both times I went to theaters and watched it because I don't ever see movies twice, but I went and saw that in the theaters twice. That's how good it was. I saw it with Seth once, and then I saw it with Destiny.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the moment that it was like, okay, this is I can't even hold back some tears right now.
Right.
Just from the
now I
line
want to watch it.
And it's at the same time you're kind of laughing because there's other like funny scenes that are kind of happening while this is it's very hard to explain how this makes you laugh and freaking cry. I mean,
Right.
it just in the first time I was in the movies with Seth, I was like sitting there and it was kind of a small theater because it's not a big movie. And I'm like kind of tearing up and I'm like trying to wipe with my popcorn butter stain fucking napkin. I'm trying to like wipe the tears from my eyes, like, oh shit, I can't. And then I hear people all around me like sniffling, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. Everybody just cry.
Let it out. Let it out.
Just let it out. Just let it out. That's how good it was. It was just like it puts like kind of things in perspective. I don't know, a little bit.
Yeah, very much.
All right, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
plug and title this movie for us.
I know.
Yeah. Because I want to see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Let's see how the iPhone did the filming.
So, Bobby, I think you should read our caption at the bottom and kind of
Yes.
lead into what we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay. Actually, does anybody else mind doing that? Because I'm trying to look up this quote real quick. Because I want
Brian,
you
go
guys
ahead.
to.
Brian, you do it.
Okay. It says hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. It's a great
Jesus
quote.
Christ, that is a perfect quote, analogy, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can actually
read about it?
you can actually see it in society today.
Yep.
I mean,
probably-
100%.
And in past generations, because I mean, the harder generations did breed like, kind of weaker generations of people that didn't. So we can see it in the past and we can see it happening in front of us right now. Almost.
Everything in life is a cycle, or what in the military we call it an orphanage cycle. Everything turns and comes back around just like a clock, regardless of what it is. As far as, like you said, hard times, strong men, weak time, things like that. It's just, it's a never ending cycle. And like me and my wife have deep discussions about it. And like I said, being married for almost 20 years to the same woman, it's something that we can discuss with each other without judging and actually have just a straight conversation about it.
Right. Right.
So, in your opinion, TJ and Danny, like, where are we now in our society?
I think we're in hard times. We're in hard times right now.
I definitely think we're in the weak man.
With soldiers and service members, they're still good because to sign that blank check means something. But our military, our society is just weak.
Yeah.
Little
so
Brian
yeah.
is a great example of a strong man, and because he comes home and tells me all about the high school kids that are just pansies. And I think what it comes down to is parents have to be part of it. Before we started the show, Danny was talking about that. Danny was talking about, hey, I'm on my kids. As parents, we got to be on our kids. So I think right now we're in hard times. What do you think, Danny?
I think we're more into the weak time period. That's just my opinion. And like I joke around about it all the time, but it's like if you really look at society and the way the younger generation act, it's as if human society has finally reached their peak as far as intelligence and everything, and then we're just devolving back down because children can no longer, and it does have to do with a lot of society issues as far as education, parents, two-parent homes, things like that. They're sitting there, children can't even, they don't even know how to actually like write script anymore. Everything's done on the phone. Like I explain to my children all the time, I'm like, you know how to get from our house to your grandparents' house? They're like, well, yeah, just GPS it.
Mhm.
Well, what happens if GPS goes down? What happens if the grid goes down? And they're just looking at me like. So at a very young age, I started teaching my children how to actually read maps. Actually, my wife teaches them how to grow food. Little things that will keep them to survive if anything should happen and we're gone. They know how to keep living and push forward. I think we are in weak times, and I think hard times are coming up pretty soon. And I feel bad for my children because they're going to hold the weight of that burden on their shoulders. And this is what's going to make them. So like when people tell me I'm too hard on my children, I'm not hard on my children. I don't beat my children. I don't degrade them. I don't do none of that stuff, but I will be firm because I want you to survive.
Right.
And the world is nasty. The world is terrible. They try to confuse you. They try to indoctrinate our children. They're trying anything they can just to win votes, win things like that. You know, it's becoming a society that you're either going to be super rich or you're going to be super poor.
Right.
And super poor, we depend on super rich. So who's winning?
Right.
It's not us no more. It's them.
Right.
And I don't want that for my children. So that's why I say I think hard times are coming. Because if our country continues to go the way it's going, and it's not a political thing. It's not, to me, both of them are evil. It's just I got to pick the lesser two evil that's going to benefit society as a whole. Not just me, not just you, as a whole. That's my opinion.
Right. I like it.
Yep. That's
So
right.
Becky and Bobby still have teenagers. Brian's child's grown. But so Becky and Bobby, what are y'all struggles as parents right now?
Me. Go.
Go ahead, Beck.
I mean, my struggle
This is not a bashing the kids.
Oh no! I'm not. I would never do that.
Yeah.
The only struggle I have is my child is very intelligent, very. You want to talk about woke? He's woke. His interests involve like just learning about everything. Like he beats me in political talks all day long. I'll ask him about what's going on in the world, and he tells me. So I don't have any worry that he doesn't understand what's going on. But at the same time, like we're having issues with like I don't want to get a job. I don't want to get my license and get a car. I don't, those things that are like, okay, but you have to live. I even told him the other day, I was like, how are you going to live it? How are you going to be as an adult if you don't do these things on the daily?
Right.
That's my struggle is like getting him to just do everyday, like activities of daily living that need to be done by him as an adult. That's it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's something that I worry with one of mine, but not the other two. But everything's so different. That's the big thing that, it's hard for us in our 40s plus, right? That, growing up for us was so different. It's a different ball game, man. It's scary. It's like, I do not envy those kids for growing up right now. Everything's instantaneous. It used to be if you got into you were being bullied, it'd be like 2 guys. Now it's 2 million,
2 guys at school, and only when you're at school.
Right.
Never when you're at home in your safe place.
Yeah. And not to go into the politics of it or any of that, but I mean, they can't afford to go to college. They can't afford to get sick. They can't buy a home. They can't, the list goes on. I mean, really. So that's what worries me about these kids is it's not easy right now. And it's not easy now. What's it going to be like in 10 years when they're buying homes?
That's why I agree with Danny when he says we're weak right now, but it's going to become hard because the weakness is creating the hardness later because they're not going to be able to handle what's coming at them. Yeah.
Well, I look at it a little different, maybe that, weak, I don't think necessarily weak, but I think in terms of, you've got helicopter parents, you've got lawnmower parents. we aren't allowed. What's that?
I know what a helicopter parent. What's a lawnmower parent?
A lawnmower parent is a parent that here, let me mow this grass out of your way. Follow me. It'll be a clear-cut path, you know.
Okay.
So these kids, they don't do anything anymore. It's like they don't have to face hardships because we want to face it for them. Because
that's the weakness. We're creating their weaknesses. We are as parents, and not intentionally, but I think a lot of us do.
Well, I think, and yes, you're right, but that's part of the weakness and part of the hard times. I think is it's going to be hard times for them. They're going to struggle because of all those things. But again, not just because we've mowed their path for them, but because we've created, as the adults in the country, we've created an absolute monster out there. When it comes, I mean, go try to buy a used car right now. Brody's about to get his license. I can't afford it. I mean, they're $25,000 for a used Honda Civic.
Right.
Well, I just got a new car that was used.
Yeah.
And realized that I didn't pay, but so it was paid more for. So the original sticker. Yeah. From a new car, we paid more as a used car.
Right.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the inventory right now is low.
Right. Yeah.
So
there's a shortage. There's a shortage in materials for making new cars.
Right.
More than anything, it's just chips. Computer chips. So yeah, you can't get a used car, and then the used cars that are the new cars that are available, they're not putting them in the cheap, affordable cars. Those chips. Right. They're putting them in the things that they're going to make the most money on. So
like the Tesla.
So let me ask you a question about that, Bobby, because I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it's 2035. There to be no more gas cars sold in California, only electric. Right. So how is this shortage now going to influence that kind of shit 13 years from now? I mean, are we going to be able to meet those demands? Or are we just kidding ourselves going, hey, guys, you kids, we're throwing you a little bone here, but it's not real. We can't really.
Well, we're looking long term though, 13 years, we don't have to worry about a chip shortage because we're trying to fix the issue now by creating manufacturing jobs in the states that create chips, right? So there's one coming in Ohio. I think there might be one in California that they're building, but they're trying to produce stateside chips. So I think in 13 years, we should be fine. If this lasts more than a couple years, we're in trouble. I think we're in big trouble. But
every downfall has come. I've been around for multiple recessions, just like you have. And the last one kind of hit a little hard in 2008. I almost lost my house a couple times.
Yeah.
Before I opened my own business, things like that. Like I said, everything's an offer cycle. Everything comes into play, but it's like I said, I'm not trying to make it political, but everything is bad politics and bad judgment that goes across. Like, for instance, you said California, they want to try to get rid of all the cars, things like that by 2035, but they're having massive power outages right now. They're telling you to buy an electric car, but don't charge your car. Right. They're telling you to keep your AC at 79 degrees in California. If any of you ever been to California, it's really hot out there. I've been there. It's terrible. These infrastructure bills that have been passed, they're not really infrastructure bills. They're not. California's been getting decimated for years on the power grid. Why haven't? And they're one of the biggest states. Why haven't you addressed that issue? It's the little things like that that is starting to crush all of us, not just small businesses. I'm talking about the average day Americans that are getting hit. These new tax laws that came in. I'm a small business owner. You know what? I got to suck it up. I got to take it on the chin. You know what? But I take care of my guys. I still offer health insurance, medical insurance, dental insurance, all that stuff. Right. It's just you're getting hit from every angle, and every recession lasts, or hey, they didn't say recession. It's a recession, but stagnation. Sorry. Stagnation lasts about between 10 and 12 years. And the way this government's spending our money right now, that's what it's going to be. Look at every economist across the world. They're predicting this stagnation for the next 10 years for every country. I mean, Jesus Christ, Europe is almost at 40%.
Yeah.
As far as inflation goes.
Yeah.
So do y'all guys watch 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
No.
So
Sometimes.
60 Minutes had a story on there last week about it was kind of a, I don't know how you would call it. Somebody broke into a grid station and shot the transformer to try to bring the power out to a whole grid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
That's their way. Terrorism is to put fear in people. So
Right.
that's what they were trying to do. They went through a tunnel and then shot the transformer that was going to put out the grid for weeks.
What state was this in, TJ?
I'm not even sure. I want to say it was in the West somewhere. Yeah, but that happened. I was watching 60 Minutes on it the other day.
Well, I learned this past week about the solar energy and like if you get the solar stuff on your house.
Right.
I was thinking like a dumbass. Like I'm thinking, like a solar light outside, you earn your power from the sun. And you don't pay for that power because it's from the damn sun. Well, no. Apparently, you get the solar power that goes into batteries that you have to pay for to get that energy.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Smart woman.
Yeah.
What?
And you have to tie into the grid, and any extra that you have to pay it. You have to recycle that electricity back into the grid. Yeah.
This is solar power that the sun provides me as a human being.
Yeah. And it is illegal.
Goddamn sun.
It's technically illegal to be off the grid too. I mean, you have to be part of the grid.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Why you guys think? Why you guys think government officials like Gavin Newsom in California is telling you not to use your power between 4 and 8 a.m.? It's because that's the sun is starting to go down, things like that, and the solar power goes away. They want you to cool your house as much as possible at nighttime and turn your stuff off during the day because it's solar power. Regardless, fossil fuels still fuels the solar power industry. You have to have that. The solar power industry only, I think, 35%, maybe 40, if that actually accommodates for it. But once the sun goes down, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to do after that?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Well,
What are we supposed to do after that?
Brian, you're living in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, you are in California.
You have to pay extra money to use your appliances between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. So
This is what I'm saying.
We don't use a dishwasher. We don't use our washer or dryer. We turn off as many things as possible. And then at 9 o'clock, we open up all of our windows. We turn on fans and suck as much fucking cold air into this place as we possibly can for the next day.
Yeah.
But
It's ridiculous.
when, as an American family, do you use the most power? Between 4 and 9 p.m. That's when your kids come home from school. That's when you're doing your laundry. That's when you're doing all of your major things. Like, that's insane. Like, not everybody can wait until after 9.
Well, we just load everything up and then hit the dishwasher at 9:01 or hit the.
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
That's sticking it to the man, buddy.
That's right.
I'm not
It's
gonna
on.
pay that fucking extra premium.
That's right. That's right.
I can wait till 9. I can do it overnight. I don't give a shit.
My electric bill went up $200 this month.
We're bouncing around a little bit, but I wanted to share this story with you guys before I forget. So I deployed to Iraq in 2011. Me and Danny did. And we had to do things, over there and protect our guys. And there was a bad guy there, right? Well, this weekend I was camping and there was a Middle Eastern family right across from my campsite. And the reason I'm mentioning this is how far we have gone in 21 years of the healing process. Because one, they're out doing what we do as Americans on Labor Day weekend, and they're grilling, they're camping, they're having a good time. Then there was a group of young men that were there. They were 9 or 10 years old, and we were playing cornhole, and they actually came over and asked to play with us. And their family brought food over to us for gratitude that we were playing this game with these kids. And Kim and I were kind of looking at each other because she knew this was a big deal for me. Because I went over to the Middle East a couple times. So it was really nice to have that healing process. To me, it was a healing process. So I just thought it was really cool that 21 years ago, we were in hatred of Middle Eastern people because of what happened. And I got to play cornhole.
I never felt so the nationality, the culture in
Right.
America, you weren't fearful of them, right?
No.
So it just when you were over there in their country doing that.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because it sounded like
Oh no. But what I'm saying is like how our country has over the years, you fear something or you hate something or you're prejudiced against something, and you evolve to make things better.
Right.
And just that game of cornhole to me was we're making it better.
Yeah.
And we got to teach them too, because they were like tossing them and they didn't know what they were doing. And I had to teach them the Bobby way of playing cornhole.
Oh no.
What's that? What's the Bobby way?
Have a drink in your hand?
Well, I didn't teach them that part. You got
They were 10.
But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thought that was pretty
No, that
cool.
is cool. And
I
you know,
mean, it's hard because when you are in that situation, I mean, obviously you have situations you're in that you're never going to forget, and it makes you hardened, unfortunately, and it makes you extra vigilant. But I think it's all, thankfully, in America, you know, we look at people for who they are and not what they look like. And, you know, we obviously appreciate culture and appreciate people, but, you know, it's a case by case basis. And those people showed you kindness and those people showed you love. And
well, I tell you what, when I was over there, it was always cool to interact with the kids because we had that small glimpse of making it the right thing to do.
Right.
So for future generations might like Americans. You know, we weren't trying to be assholes, nothing like that. We would give them food, we'd play games with them, those type of things. So they wouldn't hate.
Did you ever feel like that kindness for them and that openness for them opened you up for weakness to the people doing the bad things?
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me in Afghanistan. See, when I was in Afghanistan, you know, when 9/11 hit, I was a kid. I was 21 years old.
Right.
I had joined the National Guard. I had joined the Army Reserve at first. Kid, I'm stupid. You know, I'm being an idiot, missed a couple drills here and there, But when it actually kicked in, that we were in war, you know, my family has come from a long background of war veterans. I'm talking about my family, like my whole thing in my career is to at least make E7 because everybody before me made E7 or better, or they passed during that time.
Right.
Since World War I, you know, since we came from Puerto Rico, things like that. You know, overseas when I was there, it was It was kind of like the Wild West in 2005 when I was there. The patch I wear on my arm, on my combat shoulder, is the coalition forces. I worked with the British. I worked with the French. I worked with the Estonians, things like that. I went from fob to fob, bouncing around, and just like TJ said, I met awesome people along my way. As far as just the civilians that were there in the population, I never forget him. His name was Jimbalai. Jimbalai was an awesome dude. Jimbalai, it was him and his son. He can fix anything with a rubber band and a fucking pack of fucking gum. Excuse me. The guy can make it work. He can start a truck, a generator, anything. And I would see this man. You know, I was there, and it was close to like 15 months because Bush extended the orders over. So you're there, he extended another 3 months. But Jimbalai would be in almost every fob I went to, and he would show me nothing but love. He would come over there, say, hey, give me a hug. We sit down for chai. He would try to wash my feet. I tell him, no, I'm not taking my boots off. There's just somebody from the Bronx. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx. I'm from New York. I'm not taking my boots off. I'm not wearing slides. I'm not doing that. Some pops up. I got to get going, you know? Yeah. But I met his son. His son was cool. And I asked him after maybe about, 8 interactions, I was like, hey, Jim, why do you do this? And he said, because the Taliban killed my family, killed my wife, my kids, everybody. He says, I'm helping you. And the guy was awesome. Right. I mean, just a good person. That's why I said, when you say you meet good people, you meet good people. Those people have been thrown into such turmoil, and the people in the United States don't realize what they have until you have nothing. Right. Or you're taking everything away from you in your whole entire life. Yeah. And his whole life was just his wife and daughters. Little things like that. And I mean, it's not little, but that has a significant meaning. That's mine. And you're taking it, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth going against the odds. It's worth doing that. So like September 11th hit. Like my uncle, he was one of the head people up in Con Edison in New York. When the towers went down, he was there. And literally watching the bodies fall from the towers because they had to shut off the gas lines. They had to do all that stuff like that, So like stuff like that it just made me want to, I'm there. I'm here for my country. I'm ready to go. You need me, I'm here. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of us have our families, and like even my wife, I looked at her, I was like, yo, Ma, I got to go. Do what I got to do. She's like, well, you don't got to be in there. And I actually got out the military for a while. I had a 2-year break. You know what? When I came back from Afghanistan, I had a 2-year break. I'm like, man, I'm done. Everything I've seen from my friends dying and the coalition forces dying and stuff like that, it's traumatizing, and it gets in your head, and unfortunately our system is broken as far as the VA goes, things like that, to help soldiers, stuff like that. But I still, what I do? I still raise my American flag in my front yard. That's right. All the time. Because I love my country. I love my brothers. I love my sisters. I'm on Facebook with websites just from people just like talking about their veterans and stuff like that. And, they're like, hey, man, it's a bad day. You know what I do? I shoot them my number. Yeah. Call me. Yeah. I got time. For you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you know them; they're still your brothers and your sisters. Yep.
My brother, my sister, I got time for you. Yep. So call me. Let's talk. Let's talk this out. It's just that patriotic thing. Like when September 11th hit, I remember looking at all the flags on the people's houses. Mm-hmm. Everybody was so patriotic. We loved our country, and now they kneel in disrespect for our country. That's my opinion. Yeah. Right. No, not putting my views on no one else. That's my opinion. Right. I have a right to that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. When I went back in, I was 35. It took about 6-7 months to get in. So I was about 34 watching the news, and some group of soldiers got killed. And I'm sitting in my living room, and my son is playing with his cars on the floor. And I said, why the hell am I getting to sit here when I've been trained, because I broke service for so long? Why am I getting to sit here and I have a family and these boys and girls haven't had one yet? So I went back. And one of the coolest things that I got to do over there is I had a translator. And I told him, I said, look, I know enough Arabic to know that you're setting me up. So he became a really good friend, and we called him Rico Suave. Yeah, that was his name, Rico Suave. So we were at a checkpoint one day, and the Iraqi army is going, hey, we need to see his ID. And Rico's like, hey, man, I don't trust these cats. I said, all right. And they said his ID, and I said, he's with me. He don't need his ID. And we kept back and forth, back and forth. We had some American soldiers came up and was like, hey, we need his ID. I'm like, not going to happen. Then I had a colonel come up. He's like, need the ID. I'm like, sir, it's not going to happen. This guy risked his life to help us. Because the whole time he was going, you know me, I'm Rico. I'm Rico Suave. And I'm like, yeah, I got you, brother. So me and the colonel made it out of jail. I said, you go tell them whatever name you want to come up with, but we're driving away without properly identifying this cat. And the colonel was like, all right, cool. But that man slept next to me in the tent every mission. I trusted my life with this man. And what was he doing? He was helping our country because he believed in what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the risk those guys took just to help us was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was a good dude. I tried to get him back. I think when we left too soon, and we couldn't get the guy back. So
When was this, T? What was this the recent?
We didn't leave like November 2011. We had to leave.
It was, November. We got home December. Yeah, 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to be there longer, and they pulled us out. It was kind of a shock for us.
Yeah, President Obama started canceling everything out over there and started trying to pull people back. I remember. I mean, I was happy to go home. I was ecstatic.
Call for him to do, looking back on it.
What's that?
Do you feel like it was a good call on his part to do that, looking back on it, or did he do it just way too early?
I think
Me
he did it way
personally,
too early.
I think too early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We still had work to do.
The way I looked at it, I saw, and everything has political views towards it as far as wars go. If you do the research, Vietnam, things like that, I've literally watched when we left Iraq. My unit was up in Kalamazoo, which was not too far from Fallujah, and the rest of the main body actually was gone. My whole entire squadron was gone. We had one unit left, and that was my unit.
Wow.
TJ was he was in a different unit. And they were in Adder, and everybody had left. So when everybody had left, it was just one squad. It was us, and we were sitting there. And I remember being on the base at Adder because when everybody left, we went from Kalamazoo to Adder. From Adder, we were sitting there. They were like, "Yo, we're leaving. We're taking Cape Crossing, getting to Kuwait, we're going home." You know, all of us like, "Hell yeah, look, we're going home finally." But when you really looked at the people and what was happening afterwards, as far as the Iraqi police, the military, people were begging us, like you saw in Afghanistan, on flying on those planes, people falling off. Yeah. People were like, "Stop, please, don't go." And my truck just happened to be one of the last trucks out. As I'm looking back as a gunner, I'm looking back to make sure no one's coming up on us. I'm watching the police chase these people that are chasing us.
Wow.
And it was horrible because they were taking their paperwork. That's their passports, whatever. They have papers and taking everything these people owned. And these are people that helped us.
Right.
That stood there and became translators for us, and like TJ said, slept next to us and stuff like that. Like it's horrible. War is horrible, period.
Yeah.
But when you start taking you're not being considerate of everybody else's lives around you.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, me and TJ, orders are orders. We're gone.
Mm-hmm. My son made a really good point to me the other day, and it kind of slapped me in the face. And he was asking me something about something, and he was like, "Oh, do you only care about that because they're American lives?"
No.
And that hit me hard. And I'm like, "No, they're people. I care about all,
Right.
But it was like he threw that. But like that's a good question. Like, do you only care about certain things because they're American lives? No. Because these are people that you connect with, that you have relationships with, you form bonds with. Like, it doesn't matter if they're American lives or they're just people,
If they're decent people,
Right.
you care about them.
Right.
If they have it doesn't matter what country it is, doesn't matter what their nationality is.
Right.
It's a real simple thing. A man and woman wants to raise their children. That doesn't change from a country. We can all agree that we love our children and we want the best for our families. We just call our country something different.
Yeah. I have another question for both of you real quick,
Sure.
because Brian and Bobby, and just from our past history of military lives, do you guys have a hard time? Obviously being in combat, do you guys have a hard time talking about your experiences, or do you feel like those are things you have to talk about to get through it? Like, do you try to heal, or do you just try to keep it inside? Like, what is the feeling about in our generation? Like, what is the feeling of what you need to do? Do you try to compress it, keep it in, and never talk about it? It's a horrible thing. Or you try to talk about it as much as you can just to talk through healing?
I'll go first. I think I talk, because one thing I've learned about doing the TikTok thing and everything else, when I'm giving advice or talking about something in my life, there's someone out there that needs to hear that because they're going through the same shit.
Right.
So as service members, when we talk about the trauma or we talk about any of that stuff, there's another service member that's been dying to talk about it. They've been dying to say, damn, somebody feels the same way I do.
I'm not alone.
Yeah, I'm not alone. The service members of the other wars that we've had, they've all had to bottle that in.
Right.
So I'm glad that we talk more.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Do you feel the same way, Danny?
Sometimes.
Danny said I'm not a talker.
Yeah, it's just. I
don't
believe
want everybody to know the things you've been through because they're bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to have to tell your kids or your wife or those things. But do you feel like there's anybody you can talk to? Like, do you have...
my wife knows.
Okay, good.
She knows.
Good.
She knew the first day I was home. She said when Iraq was Iraq, but it wasn't that bad. But Afghanistan was bad. I was, like I said, it was the Wild West. Your missions back then, your rules of engagement were different. It was some commanders were like, shoot, kill. Some commanders were like, don't, get in the truck, let's go. When you see people, like I said before, you eat with them every day and the next day they're gone.
Yeah.
They may not be in my unit. They may just be in the chow hall, the DFAT, But my wife's seen it. When I came home, she said, from Afghanistan, she said, you don't smile no more. You don't laugh. You don't joke. Everybody has to face their demons some way or somehow. And like, I can't speak for no one else. For me, what I did was I was literally home from war, from Afghanistan for maybe 6 days. And I went back to my regular job. My wife was like, why are you going back to your regular job? The military's paying you for the next month. It was to keep my mind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
My first day home, my wife's awesome. My wife, we lived in a shoebox apartment. My wife, I was gone, came home for my little R&R break. She literally bought a house for us. Came home, my bank account was full. I had a furnished house.
Yeah.
Like she was like, when I came home, she's like, baby, this is ours. I was like, holy man, really? I never had nothing. I'm a kid from the Bronx. My mom went through what she went through, and my dad went through it, but by the time I was 16, it was all on me. So like, I'm talking about like independent, leave away from parents, struggle, whatever. But it was when I came home from there, and she was, man, it was just amazing. Like I was literally in, I found myself about 3:00 in the morning, my first night there, because I couldn't sleep. I was walking around the house, like looking at the little fucking cabinets, little doors, like, holy shit, man, look at this,
Yeah.
It's just the little things, and I remember telling my wife, no, I can't go into bed with you. I got to sleep on the couch. She's like, why? I was like, because I just can't do it. Because the way I went through it, I used to live in outposts, back then it was like the whole like burn shit in the bar and tar things and twist them and all that, it was pretty bad, and I indulged myself in work. And fortunately, God has blessed me to have a skill. And, I may not be the most educated person in the world, but I'll tell you what, I got a skill. I could build a house from the ground up. And I went back to work, and I built I just kept working, and it kept my mind off of it, everything I seen, everything that was done, it kept my mind off of it. And that was my way to cope. Yeah. And like I said, everybody's different.
Yeah.
No one can do it the same. I had plenty of buddies that took their lives.
Right.
And it fucking pisses me off all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I got to go to a funeral, it just angers the shit out of me, and my wife knows it. But you know what? My wife knows what I've been through. And like I said, it takes a special kind of woman or partner, whatever you want to call it nowadays, to be there for you at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a punch in the gut. It hurts, but what can you do? And my mentality, I'm a sergeant. I'm a staff sergeant. What do we do? We're gonna push forward.
Yeah.
Keep that shit moving. Keep that shit moving.
And
because
because
there's no way around it. What are you gonna do? Give up?
Right.
What happens when you give up? What happens to my children? Things like that.
And that's your mentality as a leader. It's not just your children. You have a whole bunch of people underneath you at all times. And as a small business owner, like you have people under you that depend on you at all times. And it's hard because you got to keep up that level of just going forward when you got all this other stuff going on. So.
And you got to keep smiling because you know what? When you see, if everybody else, military always has this saying, when in charge, be in charge.
Right.
So if my mentality is I hate life, this shit sucks, da da da. What's gonna happen? Everybody else below me, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it. Like I went from an E5 basically, just a sergeant, what we call a buck sergeant, to E7. Within a couple of years, but I was in that position, but I was only an E6, and taking over E7 slot. So I'm looking at all these younger Joes, and I'm still trying to learn the ropes. And TJ will tell you he did the same thing because it was a lack of manpower.
Right.
So we had to do the same thing. We had to go from I'm just learning to I'm in fucking charge and I'm taking over everybody.
Well, not only
And then
that,
you have to deal with young
young
lieutenants.
lives that you don't want to mess up because you know what war does to you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know that these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids look to you to keep it moving when they are
know,
like have no life skills.
Exactly.
And now we're dealing with riots and those type of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, January 6th, all those things you
Yeah.
guys talked about then.
Danny, did you go to Richmond for the riots, or were you at Virginia Beach?
Now I was up at Fort Pickett. I was getting everybody ready.
Okay. So I had to go to
BC,
Richmond.
all that stuff.
Yeah. I was in Richmond the whole time, and I lived in Richmond or lived near Richmond. And what shocked me was here I am on a military vehicle driving the town over to deal with fires and violence, and it was unreal to have to
Against
do
the
that
government
stuff.
that you're protecting,
Right.
like, how does that feel in America?
Well, I tell you, I had a kid. He was sitting next to me in the truck, and I looked over at him and I'm like, "Hey, brother, you good?" And he said, "Look, man, this is my hometown." He said, "I grew up in Gilpin Court, which is a bad neighborhood." He went from Gilpin Court to high school to college, and then he was in the Guard. And he said, "This is in my city acting up, and I want to make it better.
Yeah,
I want to go and protect my community."
that's awesome.
So,
Hey, Brian, you never talk too much. Can I hear what you got to think about the situation?
Brian, don't talk much.
No, I'm just listening to you guys' stories. I mean, I think it's amazing to hear
Oh,
from people
awesome.
that are like, yeah,
Awesome
that
story.
we got to experience that. I don't, have any friends that have gotten to experience that. So I'm just soaking it all in. I don't have
I'm just thinking about from a different perspective as not your angle, but from where you are. How do people out there feel about us? People like me and TJ, you know?
I don't think there's any ill will. I think it's, I think there's like this image of like California being this like crazy place like LA, but LA is one little city in a huge state.
Right.
Yep.
So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's people's perception of California, not like the reality of it. So I don't live in that kind of like environment necessarily. I mean, I do live in a hippie town, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a lot of anti-military rhetoric around me or anything.
Okay.
If you don't know, Brian works in the medical field. Are you still a director?
No, just a manager.
Okay. He's in nursing, so he deals with a lot of people that are professional. So he only has to deal with the hippie people when he goes to the beach.
I don't do.
Yeah. No. Brian goes to the mountains all the time, and he's our little camper and hiker.
He's our adventurer.
Yeah, he's our adventurer.
We all live vicariously through him.
We do.
I go
He
down
goes
an inner tube
person.
on the weekend. I'm thinking I'm doing something. And then I talked to Brian, what was it, yesterday? And I was talking about going camping. And you're like, yeah, I just sleep in my truck. And I'm like, dude, I had a tent. I had electricity.
He's up there fighting mountain lions and stuff like that on jogging trail.
Yeah.
I'm out there letting the kids use the car for air conditioning.
No,
Shit.
even Destiny has like one of those pee things that make you have a penis pee. Like
The
one of those
Wizenators.
women things. What is it called?
They're called Wizenators.
What is it?
Wizenator, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wizenators.
Where you're like a woman and you can't pee like a man, so you pee into the Wizenator and you just pee like a man out in the wilderness.
It just flows on out.
Been using those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's been using them?
The military been using them for years.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah.
had one when I was in the military. I just
Well,
squat
of like
a
pilots and stuff.
dog.
That's because you in the that's because you're Army Reserve. That's why.
Yeah, nasty girls, we get,
You get the Wizenator, and I get
we
my
get the
porta
Wizenators.
potties taken away a day early because I'm the only girl on the field.
No, it's not that. It's the fact that, and I'm not shooting a shot at you. That Army Reserve are logistics. National Guard is actually combat arms. A lot of people don't realize that National Guard deploy more than active duty and Army Reserve combined. Especially during the last 2 wars.
Right. Yeah.
We're the first ones in because you know what? We're what they consider we're expendable.
I don't like that
just point black. Point blank.
I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
That's the way the government works. I mean, it's smart. Like I've sat in op orders before, and like my soldiers don't understand. Like when I tell them to go do something, I'm like, yo, go dig a ditch over there. Like, sorry, why am I digging a ditch over there? We're not doing nothing. I'm like, because they don't see the bigger scheme, the bigger circle. They see this. They don't see that going on. Yeah. I was like, the op order you got is 10 times bigger than what you think. I was like, it's not your job or your pay grade to actually understand what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
So I'm telling you to do something, fucking do it. Do it. Get it done.
Do it. Yep. Absolutely. And
they're like, oh, and like my best point in my military career, I mean, you know, came from a training opportunity. It came from we were on one of our XCTCs. It's like pre-deployment before you go to JRTC, things like that. Before you leave a year prior, because like I said, everything in the military is an orphan cycle. It's, you know, crawl, walk, run phase. Mm-hmm. My soldiers are like, all right, sorry, we over here, so we got to suck it up, be in the field for 3 weeks, no problem. You know, me being as a platoon sergeant, a new platoon sergeant stepping in for E7 as an E6, I'm like, hey, look, this is where we're going to do things. I'm telling you how I want things done. You, my guys, you know, every day strip. I want to make sure that you ain't got no ticks on you, ain't gonna get Lyme disease on you. You know, they're like, I'm not taking my clothes off in front of you. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I see you naked 100 times. I'm like, but we're in the woods. Everybody's looking.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? To me, as a platoon, I'm gonna lead by example. You know what? I strip naked. You know, I got a bar of soap in my hand. I tell my guy, you know, take the water jug and dump it over me for a little bit. He dumps it over a little bit. I scrub down, dump it over again so I can wash it off. You know what? I put a pair of underwear on, a pair of socks, in the same crusty uniform. Yeah. And, you know, I make them do that.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at me like I'm crazy. So they do it. Yeah. And then as far as the missions start going, you know, they're like, all right, well, you know, like I said, once again, they don't know the plan. I do. So I'm like, all right, we're going to move here, do this. These people can come over here. So everybody starts combining. And then we were riding down in the trucks one day and they act like a IED blew up. IED blows up, fake IED. Boom. And the instructors come on and go, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. You know, what are you going to do? I look at my guys. I'm like, what you going to do? So my guys, I already told them how to do because, you know, everybody in the truck has to know everybody else's job above them. Oh. They start taking out the equipment, moving into the next truck, providing security, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, calling 9-line medevac. They called 9-line in, and the actual helicopter actually comes in. Instead of being fake, it actually like comes in like real life. They load them up. The medics are in it. They're shooting people with IVs and taking their weapons and strapping them down. Like, and at the end of 3 weeks, they're like, yo, sorry, that was cool as shit. I said, this is real life scenario.
Yeah. Yep. You need those.
You need that in life.
You know,
you need that to know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Talking about how you have to strip down, right? So we were doing XTTC one year. We were at one of the ranges. And we put up a little makeshift curtain. We got the water jug. We're washing down. We're butt naked. And the technicians come up, and they're all female. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I go over there, and of course, I get dressed. I go over there, and I said, hey, ma'am, I'm really sorry. We've been out here for 10 days. And she looked at me. She said, please tell your boys to wash their asses. They're the ones that are touching our equipment and all that. So they're like, we're tired of you stinking.
Yes.
So I was pretty happy about that. The commander was pissed, but he got over it.
Wash your ass.
Wash your ass, please.
Wash your ass. That's
Go
funny.
10 days without a real bath, just baby wipes.
Mhm.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
Nasty.
So we've been doing
The
this
Army
for a
Reserve
while.
doesn't. They don't do that.
No, we only like women were allowed to go 3 or 4 days without a shower. I think men. Well, no, I think women were 3 and men were 4.
Yeah.
Like, you
Shit,
couldn't go past that, but it happened.
We were like 15 days.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that. That's nasty. You guys are nasty.
We,
Girls.
we were training. We were doing all these scenarios, and we were out there for a long time. And it started to rain, and we had this SF dude from 82nd or some shit evaluating us. And at first he's like, "Stay out there." And then it started storming, so we had to go get in our Humvee. Now this is the first water that we've touched. So I'm sitting in my Humvee, and I'm going, "Is that me? Oh Jesus!
Ah!
Is that you? Is that me? Oh Jesus, that's me." Stuck so bad. When I took my uniform off, it did the MC Hammer right to the dirty clothes bag. Just telling you.
Gross. That's funny.
That's funny. That's nasty as shit.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is.
Oh, but you don't have an option though. You don't have a choice when you're only given so much. But that's pretty nasty.
Pretty nasty. All right, so we've been going for an hour and 20. Let's wrap this up. Danny, what we do is we allow each person to say their last thing. So you're our guest. You get to go first.
Okay. Once again, like, I appreciate being on the show with you guys. I love having a conversation with you. Everybody sharing their opinions. And if I had to tell everybody in the world one thing, and it's a quote one of my best friends told me as a young kid, not kid, but 22 years old. He told me, he said, "Always play the ball as it lies." And I never understood it until one day it actually clicked when I was 24 and the light bulb goes off for every male. Take people for who they are, never judge, and you'll never get hurt.
Love it. That was beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Brian, go ahead, buddy. Since we didn't let you talk a lot.
Oh, that's fine. Just try to do something outside your comfort zone. That's when you're really living.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
Bobby?
God, I every time I do this, I'm the worst at this. 'Cause I can't think quick on my feet like that. We'll have to go to Becky.
Okay, I'll
Sorry,
go.
Becky.
First of all, Danny, thank you so much for being on the show. And I want to have you back again because you have so much insight and so much knowledge that's amazing that people just don't get to hear. And the fact that you're comfortable talking about it is amazing. And I, for one,
I appreciate it.
thing. But if, going back to the 9/11 thing and what you were kind of talking about, TJ, I mean, and kind of just piggyback off of Brian, like, I don't know if it's piggybacking off of Brian, but it's just like, take every person for who they are. Take every situation for what it is. Be kind. It's not hard to be kind to people. And that's what we need. Like, oh my God, just be kind. Smile. Give somebody a compliment. Even if you don't 100% mean it, I guarantee you're going to make them smile for that. And for that small moment, just be kind as a human being and love each other. That's all we need. Like, of anything, that's the one thing we can all give to each other in this world. And that's all I got.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
great, right?
Well said.
All right, Bobby.
Dude, I still haven't come up with anything. See,
You want me to give you a quote?
no, you're good. You're good. I don't have to say anything. We'll let T
You don't have
end
to.
it.
Well, let's
All right, so I'm glad that we got to do this again. It's been a long time. I always enjoy this. I'm TikTok famous, and I always end my videos with, as always, you're amazing. Go make a difference in someone's life. It might be mine.
Yes.
Be blessed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
Be
So
blessed.
everyone, thank you for watching, checking us out, and we'll see you next month.
All right. Thank you
All
guys.
right.
All right.
Thanks.
Love you.
Thanks, Danny.
Hey, TJ, thanks for having